A very good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of you, wherever you're joining from in the world. Today, we are very excited to host an extremely successful, distinguished guest on our podcast today, Mr. Richard Rekhy. A short brief about who Richard is. Richard is currently the Vice Chair of the Grand Thornton India. He is the former CEO of KPMG in India and was a member of the board of KPMG International and KPMG Middle East. He was also a strategic advisor with KPMG Lower Gulf, where he was helping the firm in their transformation journey. And prior to this, Richard was a worldwide partner with Arthur Andersen. He started his career with the mid-sized firm called Rata S. Mama and Co. So from this short introduction, you can make out he's been a man of numbers and processes and, helping people and firms refine their process and make more money, be stringent, be compliant with laws. But today we are going to ask him about his other side. We are going to ask him about his human side, about his personal side, and his journey of life thus far. So a very warm welcome to our podcast, Richard.
Thank you very much, Sreesha. It is wonderful to be with you again. And I'm really privileged and honored to be here. And I hope we have a great chat today.
I'm sure we will. Thank you so much. So, Richard, would you want to start with telling us about your earliest years, your childhood, and the foundation years that laid the foundation for who you are today?
I've had over 40 plus years in the consulting world, 42, 43 years actually to be exact. And my earliest childhood days, I was born in a small city in Amritsar, Punjab. My father's side of the family had deep, my grandfather was a Punjabi, and I keep being asked this question from where Richard and Rekhy, how do they match? And is it a fake name you have given yourself because you came into the multinational world? And I said, no, this is my real name. This is the name I was given when I was born. My grandfather was a Punjabi, he's no more now, so that's why I'm saying was. And he married an Anglo-Indian lady who was a Christian, a Catholic. And the condition was all children will need to be Catholic. So that's how I just want to tell everybody that's how Richard Rekhy comes in. And it's my real name. And by religion, I'm a Catholic. But if you say from where you are, I'm from Punjab. I lived my very, very early lives there, my first 5 years maybe. And just for all people who know about Punjab and know about India, I started learning Gurmukhi also when I was in the school. Of course, now I can't speak Punjabi because we never spoke it at home. But I will just give you one small incident. My father worked most of his life in one factory in OCM, in Amritsar, in OCM. The factory was Oriental Carpet Mills. And they sent him to the US for his further education. So he's also a small town boy who worked on the factory floor. And then he was sent to US to do his master's and by the company. And then obviously became quite a well-known textile engineer in the country. So when I went back to that same company to do the audit one day, and all the workers came to know that so-and-so's son has come, and they came to meet me, and they were so disappointed when I couldn't speak Punjabi. And in fact, they got angry, they got upset as to why don't you know the language. So these are my early days when I was born, and then as we grew up, the greatest influence in my life has been my mother, because she was there with us all the time, and no lectures, no this thing, but all her actions imbibed all the values that at least I took away from it. And so lived in Kanpur, a lot of my life in Delhi, Mumbai, Bombay in those days. Calcutta, I finished my schooling in Calcutta. My last schooling was at La Martiniere for Boys, Calcutta. Calcutta was my most glorious period of my life because there was club life. I used to be in the school swimming team. I'd also
Oh,
participate in the cricket. I was in the reserves, of course, in the cricket team and for my school. And I also swam for Tollygunge Club in Calcutta. So swimming was my passion. Uh, s- uh, and when I grew up, actually, we grew up with a lot of to learn, to be taught about humility, be grounded. Like, fortunately, my father made it big in life. So we used to have all these great houses and servants, etc. And my mother used to keep reminding us, these are not your servants, they are your father's servants. So go take your own water. You're not going to order them around. And she used to, whenever she was around, she would stop them from, them coming in because we were all in school, whatever. So there were all these values which we were brought up on, and of course we always had pets in our house, dogs, and so we all grew up with dogs. A lot of dog bites, because when you're naughty as children, the dog also reacts, right? And
yeah.
but it all became common. So if a dog bit you, we never got like worried about it. So it's okay. And that's where I think I didn't realize what I was learning when I was young. And like somebody asked me, so did you ever plan your career? I never planned any career of mine because I never. My father was an engineer. All his brothers were engineers. In our family, my mother's side were all more in the government. My uncle retired as director CBI. My mother's brother, and other one was in accounting CAG office. So it was a very two different kind of families, but nobody ever was in a like a professional kind of job, which I went for. And uh, and then you'll ask me, how did I go on to become a CA? So once I remember I was in class 9 or 10, I don't remember the exact. I was sitting in my school in Calcutta. The principal walked by and he asked me, so have you thought about your future? What will you do? So I said, yeah, I've got a dream. He said, what is it? I said, I want to join the Merchant Navy. So he said, why do you want to join the Merchant Navy? I said, I want to travel the world. I want to see what the world is. And maybe in my small mind at that time, we were not as good as the kids now, so well aware and, whatever. So I said, I want to travel the world. And so he said, have you ever thought of becoming a chartered accountant? I said, what is that? Then he sat there and explained to me, and he told me it's a great career. And then he walked away. I also forgot about it. And then my school got over. I went on to get into college in Delhi, and I did my BCom honors. And then what do you do after this? And then I remembered he said you should become a chartered accountant. And then I went and got articles, and I started my CA career then. And honestly, I was not very good in accounts in BCom. I never used to get good marks. I should struggle. And then when I went on to do my articles, I suddenly started scoring very good marks in accounts and CA, because
Okay.
I learned the practical way of how books are kept and how entries are made. So it became very this thing to me. And so I've never been the studious type. I've been more pragmatic, more practical, to go into life and implement things then. And I'm a very, by nature, I'm very perceptive. So I'm able to pick up the dots, I'm able to connect them, I'm able to take them forward, use a lot of common sense in the way I operate from life. And I was always very curious to learn, very curious to. The one great habit my mother put in all of us was to read a lot of books. So I was a voracious reader. I don't know, I've read almost every single book I came upon. So read a lot. A lot of it was also fiction, non-fiction, more fiction books, and when children, you grow up on certain books and then you slowly graduate. I can make one confession now. At last 2, 3 years, I've not read books. I keep getting a lot of books gifted to me, and I think I'll get back to reading because there are so many books to be read now, and there are so many new themes which have come. So I enhance my knowledge through YouTube and through TED Talks, and I do a lot of things on the YouTube. So I don't watch television. 2020, just before COVID came in, I stopped watching. I've removed the television screens from my home, everything. So all my learnings, all my everything is on my laptop or my iPad. Actually, my iPad is my go-to person, and so I all my news are pick up because I'm on X on Twitter. So I get all my news firsthand from there because the leaders are all on Twitter, if you see, and
Yeah.
whatever they say it there. So that helps me with the news. There are some channels which I watch my sports, and so I'm okay. I'm good. And then of course, in case I get time, then Netflix and other channels, OTT platforms. Yeah.
I see. Fabulous. What an interesting life arc, at least the first half, your younger years.
Yeah.
So, you wanted to travel the world. That's all you had planned for. And just today, I actually came across a post where a lady was saying, if you want to be really successful in life, plan your life. You should know what your next 5 years will look like, what your next 10 years will look like, and then you should work towards it. And somewhere I felt you are setting yourself up for disappointment if you plan too strictly. You should have loose plans. But then you should be open to plans not working out because sometimes what doesn't work out works out for the best. Something else better comes your way. Would you agree to that?
Uh, my life, I don't want people to copy me. Mine was the most unstructured, unplanned life of anybody.
Hmm.
Uh, my father, if he had his way, he being a successful professional, he went on to
Hmm.
become CEO of a few companies and everything else. He was very disappointed with the career I chose. He was very disappointed with my early life, my struggles, not earning money, working so hard. And he told me, "You are making a fool. They are fooling you. You're being made a fool of. Come and join the corporate world. You will get a better life. You'll get a house. You'll get a car. You'll get a lot of perks, facilities. Why are you struggling there?" While my father worked hard, but he never worked at the pace at which I worked. So I'd not seen this pace of work myself. Uh, Going into CA and doing it, I didn't know what I was signing up to, honestly. But I'm going to tell you one thing. I just love so for me, everything has been no planning. Somebody asked me, did you plan to become a CEO or I said, forget about plan. I never even thought of joining a big four or a big five ever because I was in a small, medium-sized firm, never seen what the big firms look like. I didn't know I will be successful there also. So I just kept my dreams within myself, my ambitions, whatever it was. But I can only tell you one thing. What really got me going was my love for my work. I just loved what I was doing, all helping the clients, working on it. And fortunately for me, Mr. Ratan S. Mama, the founder of that firm, inadvertently became my mentor. He became my work hero who I used to watch. My first hero was obviously my father, who I really admired for what he had achieved in life and tried to learn few things of it. And I also had at the back of my head, yes, actually, when I was very young, when I just started my career, I was out there to make money. My only ambition was that I want to make as much money as possible. And I had this dream of going to the Middle East and making a lot of money and then coming and building my house. And you know how it is, youngsters.
Yeah.
And then an incident happened in my life, a very unfortunate incident. I lost my younger brother in a motorcycle accident, and I was all prepared to go to the Middle East. And when I was standing at his grave, I said, if this is the end to which we all go to, then what am I chasing? I mean, we are nothing. I mean, if this is how life is going to end, and that day, I I lost my zest for life actually. For a few days, I couldn't come out of it. The shock was so much because I didn't express it because my parents were totally broken. There was nobody able to do the last rites, everything. So I had to keep myself strong and, go to the church and, get all the things done and call the father, etc. And then I broke in the sense, I said, do you think it's worth living? And I lost every interest in money that day. That day, money became immaterial to me in my life. And I have never chased money after that. Money has never meant anything in my life. Okay, if you get it, you don't want to say no to it, but it is not it is not my prime motive. It drives me. Now, what drives me is doing good, and I have an unfulfilled ambition. I have a very a big unfulfilled ambition because as I grew in life in all these 40 years of my working life, something touched me very badly, or touched my heart actually. Was okay, you have achieved all this. Now what? What's next? I asked myself that question. And then I said, is there any way I can touch a billion lives? Now I'm saying it again. How can I touch a billion lives? It's an audacious dream, but the
Mm-hmm.
dream is not dead yet. I don't know whether I'll ever get there, but I'm trying to find somebody who I can work with. And now, in the world of technology, could we use this, build a momentum of like minded people coming together to touch a billion lives? And so now that is something that is driving me. So if you ask me, right through my professional career, midway somewhere, my whole thing, actually, it was 2002 that I started saying, I must do something for society, give back to society. And so from there, a very different life started for me. Parallel life. So literally, I was leading two lives. One was my professional life, and one was how do I help the less fortunate. Yeah.
Fabulous. So, if I may, take you back to the one of the defining incidents that you shared in your life and ask you, then how did you find the strength to come out of that dark period of following your brother's accident?
Uh, my mother, who was the most broken, was the one who gave me the strength. And she told me, you can't sit at home. You have to go back to work and you've got to live your life. You've got an entire life to live. Live it. What has happened, we can't change. And you just go and live your life. And actually, she gave me a lot of strength of going back to work, finding the same magic at work, which I got after a period of time. I don't see we ever forgot it. And so that incident, because it was so this thing to us as a family,
Yeah.
but we all moved on, and I would say moved on, other than my mother, moved on and started leading our own lives and doing things. So I think she gave me the strength, and of course, there is the we being Catholic, so we are very church going and people. So I think God gave me the strength to move on, and I think I found a lot of my strength in spirituality, uh, of understanding. And actually, that's the first time I realized that there are two things: our exterior self and our interior. And if our interior is strong, if your interior being you are strong, exterior it gets reflected in your exterior, how you look, how you behave, how you conduct yourself. So I think the surgery or the thing has to be done in the interior part of your life, inside part.
Yes, very right. So that's exactly what we call our courses at here at Mighty Champions. It's called inner education. You take
Yeah,
charge of inner world,
yeah,
inner mind, and the way you look at world, the way you approach life, the way you handle the ups and downs of life, peaks and troughs of life, it's a given. Everybody will face it. But the resilience, the positivity, the problem solving skills that you have defines, how high you will go or how stuck you might stay.
yeah. So
Okay.
from very a lot of things came to me. Uh, I think it was, for me, it was all experiential. There was nobody to teach me. I was not fortunate like the kids these days. They get people to come and talk to them. They get great speakers to come and share their life stories. We didn't have it when we were growing up. We didn't have all those kind of things. We had one-on-one experiences. Somebody told us it's the right way. Like from Mr. Mama, I learned that you need to be positive. You have to be solution-minded. You also need to always be well dressed. So, like a very small thing I'm telling you, but he used to insist that we were a mid-sized firm, like as we discussed earlier, but he insisted that we wear suits and ties and for work and always do great jobs and don't take a job which is not there. And I remember one incident which actually had a defining moment in my life. That audit I was doing, and we found a fraud in that audit. It got widely reported. But I still don't want to use the name of the company. It was a big fraud. It was the biggest fraud in India in that time. And I stumbled upon it. So I'm not saying it's some great work I did. And the client, the cashier confessed to me, we have done this. So we were very clear that it's not fictitious, it's a real fraud. And so the MD of the company told us, no, it's a process failure. We'll give you a huge assignment on process and you just sign these accounts. So we were having this meeting with Mr. Mama, and so he asked me, so what do you think? I said, no, it's a fraud. So he said, but we will be losing our biggest client because I'm being called in today to sack us as auditors. But if you are very confident what the work you have done and it is a fraud, we'll stick to the stand. And we stuck to the stand. But something else happened there, and we were not sacked actually. But the company disintegrated completely because it was a huge, actually, it was a fraud which was so big. And we had unearthed some of it, but there was more to it also. And we didn't sign those accounts. And that's the time I realized that what it means to do the right thing and not bother
Yes.
about losing your biggest client, not losing your
Hmm.
biggest client, your biggest fee paying client. And here was a man who was whatever. We are going to be next year celebrating his 100 years since he was born. He died in 1997, but we are all coming together. Whoever of us are still connected, and we are going to celebrate his 100 years. I don't know, we have not thought what we're going to do, but I'll just tell you one thing. Mr. Mama died in 97. That's the time I left Ratan S. Mama and joined Arthur Anderson. The day I became a coup in KPMG, I wrote a letter to Mrs. Mama saying that this letter is for Mr. Mama, but he's not there. So I'm writing to you. I want to thank for whatever I learned in that firm, and I have achieved this in life. And when I finally became the CEO at KPMG, I wrote to his son and said, this is for your father, for whatever I learned from him. And the family was very touched, actually, with this because I wanted to be thankful to somebody who actually made my life. The initial grounding, the initial shouting, abusing, what he used to do, but it all helped in my growth. So youngsters who are watching and who may watch this video, I think when you get roughed up in early part of your career, take it. It's all a growing up process, and please wear those scars with pride because those scars will take you places, and those learnings will make you who you will ultimately become. Yeah.
That's so well put, Richard. I completely agree with you. I think the bosses who truly are invested in your growth and future will not let you slack or compromise on values or your learning. And it might not feel good in the moment, but they are the bosses who you'll remember decades later and truly bow your head to and thank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Mr. Mama was in an era when there was no Google, there was no this thing. So when I wrote my first article on him, my mentor, the newspaper, it was an editorial. They refused to publish it. They said, who's this Ratan Baba? They couldn't find it in the Google search. And so I had to explain to them. So they wanted a letter from me written that, yes, this was his name and all. And then they published that article. But so I think, but for many of us, actually, somebody asked me, what was in that firm that so many big professionals came out of it? Many. And all of them went on becoming successful partners in the Big Four. Some went on to become leaders. Some have set up their own organization, own consulting firms, and doing extremely well. Extremely well.
Wonderful. So it sounds like it was the perfect nursery for giant trees to grow out in the future.
Yes. Yeah, actually, it's a very, very well put, actually. Now I'm going to remember this. When we celebrate his 100 years, I'll remember this. Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay. So for our youngsters, these days, there's so much noise, there's so much information, advice, you know, the problems that we face, lack of people sharing their stories or advising us. The youngsters these days face the opposite. There's too much advice, too many points of views. But as a small town boy who went on to become the CEO of a big four, what's your advice when you look back? What's your advice to them?
I think the first thing when these youngsters go out, what I've noticed, and this is what is my thing, I could be wrong, they want to work with brands. They want to have a planned career, like you said, very planned, everything is written out. Because as they go through the education, that's the way it's also done. Now, you need to score so much, you need to then go into engineering, go into becoming a doctor or whatever. I think now not many people want to become accountants. So the options are many. Social media has become a great platform to earn money, etc., etc. So the only thing I will say is don't be a rocket who goes up very fast and then comes down very fast. So become grounded in what you learn. So don't be in a rush in your career. Don't be in a hurry to grow. Because if you don't learn, when the storm comes, you will be washed away, whoever you may be or whatever you may be. We have seen so many of these great entrepreneurs come and just get washed out. I was involved in Dubai for 5 years from 2018 to 23. And I can tell you every 6 months in the same place, new restaurants were coming and they were doing very well in the first few months and then they used to close down. So I think we need to, so many businesses, I mean, we have seen the startup community, etc. So I think, first of all, I think never stray from the right path of being ethically right. So today it is not about being legally right. You need to ask the question, is this ethically right, what I'm doing? The law may allow me to do it, but is it ethically right? Am I doing the right thing? And these questions the world is now asking, and they're being asked at the large corporates, they're being asked in the global kind of thing. Though, if you ask me, the world has moved to, the morality has been redefined. But I think from in that morality or in that redefinition, I think new heroes are going to emerge. And because always it is in chaos that new countries emerge, new companies emerge, new leaders emerge. And from this chaos, good people will come out. And like I was telling, I was doing a talk on Mahatma Gandhi. So I was saying, can we capture Mahatma Gandhi from the statues and pedestals and bring him back to real life? Bring him back into the life out here, because we need leaders like that to take us onto a journey which is right, because that journey gives longevity. It gives you happiness, inner happiness, which is good for your health. And also it takes you to do the right thing for the organization, for yourself, for the people you work with. And also what I would say that I will just leave, I don't want to give gyan out here, but just don't always remember whatever you do. And I'm going to give one thing which I'm going to relate a story that my mother told me when I started my work. She said, go become successful, but uh, whatever you do under the cover of darkness, when that veil is lifted, don't be ashamed of what comes out. And she gave this advice to me and say that even if nobody is looking, do the right thing. Basically, what she didn't say it, but what she was trying to say, even if nobody's looking, do the right thing. And I followed it. And every time I have passed that test, I tell her thank you. So into myself, of course. And the other big advice I got, not advice, it was actually an argument with my grandfather. And because I used to keep saying all these when I was young, I used to say all these politicians are corrupt and, all this. So he said, listen, I want to see the day when big money comes to tempt you, how you will behave. And because that is a real test you have to pass. And if you go into that life, you will get. And let me tell you, there have been many occasions, many occasions. And each time I'm so grateful to my spirituality, to my upbringing, that I pass the test every time. And I know I suffered a lot. I suffered for my firm, for my organization where I worked. And when I became into a position of power, even when I was not actually, even when I was just an ordinary partner, I used to say no to some kind of engagements, and my CEO used to blast the hell out of me and tell me, "Are you an idiot? And why you're giving up all this?" And I used to stand by myself. So I used to say, "Okay, you want, you can sack me, but I'm not going to do this." And so I stood my ground, and I was so happy because each of those cases, few years later, have gone to the Supreme Court, people have gone to jail, people, and they were offering us very big money which we had not even heard of, that you could make this kind of money. And
Mm.
I can tell you, I would like to share one. I can't use names here because they are very big people in India. Um,
Yeah.
uh, and so, so there was this case of audit client we got, and one of the biggest guys in corporate India, the most respected name, he was on the board, and he called me. Actually, we became friends. So he called me and he said, "Listen, I've recommended your firm's name, KPMG's name for audit. So you please take it." I did some research, me and my team. And so I called him up and said, "We can't." He said, "No, no, you please come to my office immediately." So I went to his office, went with all our research papers, what we did. I said, "I can't take this audit." So he said, "Why?" I said, "Here's all the reasons." And I showed him all the reasons. "No, I'm there on the board. I'll secure you and, whatever." These are all normal business. According to him, they were normal business practices. And he was one of the most respected guys in corporate India, by the way. And I still told him, "No." He said, "But your competitor is telling me that he wants this audit. Do you all have different value systems?" I said, "No, I don't know what value system he has, but for me, I can't do it. I would rather break the engagement than break the marriage because I'll not be able to sign this accounts." So he couldn't force me beyond. So we walked
Yeah.
out. 2 months later, I was in his office on something else, and he said, "Oh wait, I was just went for this company board meeting." He opened out a page. $8 million was the audit fees. He's saying, "See, what have you left on the table?" I said, "I knew it." He said, "You knew it and you still said no?" He took a piece of paper and a pencil, told me, "Give me 6 audits that you'd want me to help you win, and I will try and help you win those audits." Personally wrote it down. And I can say with all honesty, he helped us win most of those audits. And there were incidents when the audit was not going in the right way. I mean, the process was not going the right way. He used to call me up, guide me what to do and everything else. And so we won a lot of large company audits thanks to him. That day, in front of me, he made calls to 3 audit committee chairmen and said, "See if you can take KPMG as your auditor. I'm going to appoint them." whatever. So the point is, so he helped. I mean, he was a real this thing mascot at that time for us. So I think, we should do the right thing. We don't need to go after money. I know my firm really got after me because we lost a lot of money in many of these no's. And there was another one, which was a national general insurance. They had done a policy, they got a claim from one of the largest corporates in India. And so he said, I want you to do the, arbitration, the accounting part of it to see how it is right or not. And I said, who's the client? And he gave me the name, and I said, no, we can't do it because they're too big. And I don't think they will put pressure on us, and we may not be able to do a proper job. So he's saying, that's the reason I'm calling you. Because I heard from the market, if there's anybody who can stand up, it's you. And you will say no when it matters. And that's why I've come to you. So please take this engagement, because there is nobody else who'll be able to will take on a giant like those. And we took on that work and we did it, whatever. So sure enough, the calls came. I said, no, we are going to do our job, and, whatever. So many times you lose work because of this, but you can. So I remember one person asked me, so you lost all this money, what did you gain? I said, I gained a good night's sleep.
Yes.
But my conscience was very clear. And I think, and I saved my partners from going to jail. Few of them, I'm not naming them, where people have gone to jail. I saved them. I fought for it and said, no, we're not going to take these assignments. And they were very high profile engagement. So actually, when we look at the corporate world, we look at it and then we say, okay, what is it? So, yeah. So this is a few incidents of my life. So this is one advice I'll give: always do the right thing to
Yeah.
youngsters. And
Yeah.
the other thing which I will say, that titles are given, respect is earned. So earn your
Yeah.
respect. As you go along.
Yeah.
Respect can only be earned by you through your work, because life is a circle. What goes up comes down. You respect people on your way up, they will respect you on the way down. I'm a living example of that. I can still walk down the corridors of KPMG, and people will still come to meet me, and it is not gone away from there. Maybe as we go through the conversation, I can give you a few more incidents about it. One day I was invited by the current CEO for lunch, and so one of the partners, she came up and said, a lot of people are outside waiting to see you. I walk out, all the office boys were there, all, without exception. They were standing out just to see me and wish me. I mean, ultimately, this is what you gain. It's, a community which will never be able to do anything for you, because they are the lowest end of the value chain.
Yeah.
But obviously, you touch their lives somewhere, and they just came to wish. And I can tell you, whenever I go to any KPMG office, if they come to know this, everybody is waiting. They come outside, wait to guide me in, and you see that no security issues, etc. So it's amazing to see how the firm, after leaving KPMG India in 2017, we are sitting almost 10 years later. I still get the same respect what I got while I was the CEO. And so from the lower town staff, I'm seeing security guards and everybody. So those were the, because for me, I was very open. I used to meet anybody. My room door was never closed. It was open. Anybody could walk in and talk to me. So I will say humility, staying grounded, doing the right thing, and always looking at your role definition, and be passionate about what you do, whatever you're doing. You see, the problem with all the youngsters is they want quick returns,
Hmm.
uh,
Hmm.
quick gratification, and then they move on. Like you walk into toy, like child, now you give one toy, then second toy, third toy. They just want different toys. I think we should find that toy and play with that same toy for a long time, and be passionate about it, and see what you can do, and try to become the best version of yourself. Try to become who you actually are. my real learnings, my real learnings came in my failures. When I failed, when I was not able to get that promotion, when I was not able to get it, I dug deep into my reservoir of talent. And I found talent which I didn't think I had. It came out. And I was amazed at what I was able to do after that. Because each time you go down a failure route, you come out stronger. You come out more evolved as a professional. You come out as a better professional. And I think my years with Arthur Anderson were those defining years of me in my life, which completely changed my professional attitude, view to life. How do you deliver quality? How do you deliver large complex engagements, etc. So I think, and I was like from a small firm, and all those guys were all from the big firms. And first of all, I couldn't understand where I've come, because it was a big mismatch from where I came to where I reached. But and to be okay, what I also learned was to be flexible and adaptable. So you need to be agile, flexible, adaptable, move with the times, and get all of that, and touch lives. Be honest, be authentic. If you're honest and authentic, somebody may not like it. I'm a straight shooter. Maybe one thing I could have learned to be a little more diplomatic. It could have helped, but I don't know. So that was one area which I think people need to see. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you. Such powerful stories. And from what I can, relate to, when I started my career at the Oberoi, when we used to enter right in front of the staff entrance, there used to be this big poster which used to say, integrity is what you do when nobody is watching.
Yeah.
Right. And that's exactly what your mom shared as well. So these are the little thoughts that shape your path. And then you realize,
Can I
and
share an Oprah story with you?
yes,
Can
sure.
I share an Oberoi story with you now
Sure.
that you worked in Oberoi's, and it is possibly, and I'm saying it unabashedly, one of the greatest services firms in the world, not in India, in the world. And we had called Mr. Vicky Oberoi and Vikram Oberoi to come and address our partners. I can never forget my interactions. I met him very late in my life, and in his life. He died few years later. But we used to get along very well. And he was very amazed with my story. He asked me my full, what you're asking me. He spent 3 hours with me understanding my story. And so this was one part where they touched, and the other one was, I went and stayed in Fort Aguada, and there was this guy who was a general manager. He came and he said, my name is so and so. Um, uh, so he's saying, don't you remember me? And then he told me O2 Cafe, if you know, it is a Trident Cafe in BKC in Bombay. So my daughter was with me. I said, just can you Google O2 and see what it is? I just completely forgot. And then I realized he must have been the manager there. And I said, yeah, you were the manager in that restaurant and all that. So he said, I was so excited when you came to my hotel. And I can tell you one thing, and I can tell you this there, all the 3 days I stayed in that hotel, every meal he came and met us. He told us which restaurant to go and eat in. He ordered the food. He saying these are the best dishes. And he gave such a treatment there. He was the general manager of the hotel. He had become the general manager, of course, at Fort Aguada. And so I asked him, how did you remember me? So many guests come. He's saying, but the very few people who touch your lives. There are very few people who talk to you nicely, who come and, greet you also, greet us back when we wish. Many people, we wish them to just walk away. So I think, it is how you treat people that you get treated back like this. And so after leaving all those big trappings of being whatever I was, I never missed any of it, because there were these good people around to help me.
That's because you had put out into the world and it's coming back to you, as you said.
Yes. Yeah. So it's coming back. Yeah.
And also, when you were relating your incident of how you've always done the right thing, and this is something our founder, Dr. Dubey, says, this concept of cognitive dissonance, that if
Yeah.
you against your grain, against your innermost value system. It might bring you a lot of wealth in the moment, but there's a deep inherent fear and disgust at yourself, which eventually manifests as, frustration, disease, whatnot. So seeing your joy, your ease in being, we can see it clearly that you've lived a life on the white side and not in the gray area and not in the black area.
Yeah, and actually, I'm proud. That is something I'm really proud of. I'm proud of what I did for the office boys. I'm proud of what I did for the entire support staff. They were contract labor, but I ensured that all the medical was paid by KPMG, got them all enrolled. And I remember I told the CFO, you don't have a budget, cut it from the partner's budget, but these guys have to be insured. And certain times I just took those executive calls on my own against my own executive team. And, the CEO has to take calls at times, right? So I took those calls at that time. And the office boys will ever be grateful for what I did for them. It's too long to get into what happened, but just secured them financially for the next 10 years of their life after they retire.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Great. And their blessings and good wishes will elevate you even higher. So we'll come to the next round where I'll just, say a few words and then you let me know what you think of these phrases or words. So what do you
Yeah.
think of gratitude?
Gratitude is the new superpower. Gratefulness, if you're grateful for everything that actually people have forgotten gratitude. I'm sorry to say it. I asked few people, when is the last time you said thank you? Did you call up somebody and say, okay, I achieved this, thank you? And if you have not, can you just go now and call up whoever the person is and say thank you? And so gratitude is the superpower, which I think everybody needs to have. You need to be grateful because you never achieve anything on your own. You achieve it through, I would call it, build an attitude of gratitude. I read it somewhere actually. An attitude of gratitude. If we can build that, I think it will go. And there's a very nice book which I read long back, the first book, Chicken Soup for the Soul. It's a
Yes.
multiple stories by Jack Canfield. I would recommend that book. If you read, most of you would have read it, I'm sure. But those who have not read it, please read it. They're very short stories, but it's all about gratefulness. How do you pay back? And I would say, when we talk of gratitude, I would add kindness to it. So pay for it forward. Yeah. You don't have to
Wonderful.
wait for somebody. So you don't need to wait. I don't need to get Sreesha to do something for me to do something for her. So I think it's all about doing without expecting. Yeah.
Wonderful. Resilience.
Resilience, I would go to one more word from it. So I would add resilience is fighting back. It's a word which I think I'm a very resilient person personally, but I learned later in life it's better to become anti-fragile, where
Mm,
actually you're not only fighting back, but you're growing. And in resilience, you're coming back to what you lost. And you have to be resilient. You fight back, you come back. So I never accept failure. Never. I fight back. And because I've experienced the talent which was there, so I fight back. So resilience is a great word, but I would say let's convert it to anti-fragile.
wonderful. Resilience and anti-fragile. Okay.
Yeah.
Positive psychology.
So remaining positive always gets work done. So if you got a positive mindset, work gets done. It is like, I just give a very simple example. I come here, I come to my boss and say I want leave, but I know he's a nasty guy and he's not going to give me leave, right? So you can be 100% sure I'll not get the leave. But if I go and say that, no, I'm going to get this leave, and I'm getting psychologically, I'm making myself, preparing myself for that conversation. My body language, the way I put it across to him will make him grant me the leave. Very simple example I'm giving, but positive. So I remain positive in the most adverse circumstances. And I will give you one example. I was in a plane
Mm-hmm.
many years back, flying from Chennai to Delhi, and there was a loud bang in the plane. And the pilot did not announce something. After 5 minutes, he came on the. It looked like forever, honestly, but he came after 5, 6 minutes on the thing saying we have lost one engine. It is blown off, and uh, but we've got the second engine. We're not going to fly to Delhi. We're going back to Chennai, and it is safe enough to fly. I mean, he was giving the kind of, but people were screaming. People had taken out all their religious books and were crying and whatever. But nothing happened to me. And there was a guy next to me. He was asking me, "Do you know how to swim?" I said, "I know how to swim, but in this water, nobody can swim, right? I mean, if we fall, so it doesn't make a difference. You and I are the same." So he was saying, "What happened to my kids? What if I die?" And all this. So nothing happened to me. I just remained calm. I don't know why, but I just remained calm. I don't know what it was, but
Yeah.
and it was okay. So I
He
think
stayed under
positive mindset is very important to remain positive in the worst situations that you could be in. Worst.
yeah, wonderful. Okay, and relationship building skills. What's the importance of
Oh,
that?
this is my favorite topic. So we all are very transactional. I want something from you, I'll call you up and say, Sreesha, can you get it for me? Or you can do this. So everybody's transactional. Relationship means um, uh, it requires a lot of investment of time, a lot of care, a lot of love, a lot of giving. I think you have to move from a taker to a giver. If you're a giver and you give without any expectations, that's how you build relationships. You have no expectations from your side. What you get back, you accept in gratitude. Thank you for giving this. But I've not come from a house or a home where I had many relationships. I built them along the way. And I was a nobody. I was not in any community. I was not in this Gujarati community, Marwadi community where you have all that. So I was this outcast, like outsider everywhere. But I made it up by through my relationship building skills. I think I was rated as one of the best client relationship partners at Anderson and at KPMG who could build relationships. And I'll give you one small example. We were the internal auditors at a company, and for KPMG, this was. And so the tax team went and said that, can we do tax work for you? He's saying, y'all don't have a relationship with us. The client told him. He's saying, but we do the internal audit. He's saying, that's not KPMG, that's Richard Rekhy. The relationship with Richard Rekhy, not KPMG. So here's one more point I'll take forward for youngsters as they're listening. There is a company brand and then there's your personal brand. You must build your personal brand along with you. I'm not saying don't build the company brand, but build your personal brand so people in our professional consulting world will then call you by your name.
Fabulous. Wonderful. So this has been so enlightening. Maybe we can open the floor to questions from the audience if there are any. If anybody wants to unmute and ask Richard any question.
This is Vardini. Just so amazing. It's such a great start for the morning for me. And so I just wanted to say thank you so much. And some of the talks and statements that you made are so uh, deep that we just have to read and reread it again. And it's just the life story. And um, in the end, you were saying you should move to from a taker to a giver. What if, my question for you is, what if you've always been a giver? And how do we balance that to recharge ourselves?
Yes, I agree. Actually, I'm a complete believer in that giver. What I read somewhere, please
Yeah.
put boundaries. Otherwise, you may become a taker after some time because if you give so much. So I think we need to be balanced, I would say, in what we
Okay.
do. Because let me tell you, there have been periods in my life, okay, give back to society. There have been times when I have not been in the best of frame from
Mhm.
a financial point of view. So I've said no to people. I said, I don't have the money. When I have the money, I'll give you. And the day I earn the money back, I'm going to give you. But I cannot be with a begging bowl, So I think somewhere you need to draw the line and you need to put it out. Good question you asked, and I think this is something I subconsciously followed. I never
Mhm.
followed it as a plan that I should be, but then when I read somewhere that put boundaries around your giving, I said, "Wow, I was doing this without knowing it. I was doing it in my subconscious mind, and so that's the way it is." I remember
Thank
once,
you.
I was giving somewhere and my mother was telling me, why don't you improve and make the check bigger? So I used to tell her that, yeah, we can do it, but let's do it slowly. It's not that I don't have the money, but let's do it in a way. So I think we should not be taken as a sucker, the way I would say it. And my giving, which I'm talking more was a professional career kind of point of view, when we build relationships with clients and how we support them through their tough times. And so that when they are doing well, then they come call you later on. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for
Yeah.
asking that question.
Yeah, thank you so much for your answer because I feel guilty for taking sometimes. Like, like I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
as always I've been in that space and it was a selfish question. Thank you. I really got my answer. I
Thank you.
know boundaries are so hard sometimes, but thank you
Yes.
so much. You're amazing. It's so great. Thank you.
Thank you. And Sreesha, one or two things more what I would leave for youngsters, as I'm reflecting on the question. I'm sorry, I'm still thinking of the question you asked.
Sure.
I think I would tell them never sell anything that you would not buy. Never sell
Uh-huh.
anything that you would not buy. And your destiny is in your hand. And don't go blaming the world. The choices you make today will be what you become 10, 20 years later. So accept that you made the choice and you will either be a beneficiary or you'll suffer because of the choice you made. And also be a good ancestor. Plant trees that you will never see. And because when you came into this world, there were a lot of trees, and those people who planted it may have never seen those trees. So I think in this environment, just yesterday we celebrated Environment Day. So I would say plant more trees. And also, if every time you go out to do something, just do it 5% or 10% better than you did it last time. Small incremental betterment, and in a few months where we will reach will, yeah.
Fabulous. Great pointers. And these are, rules that if you follow, you can be rest assured that in your later lives, when you look back, you'll be very content with the life that you've lived. There'll
Yeah.
be no, yeah, there'll be no push
and,
and pull in your psyche.
and I would only leave one thing which I did not do, and I would tell them to do it, is if you're sitting at 60 or 65 years old and you reflect back on your life of what your scorecard was, why don't you do it when you're 25? What your scorecard should read, and so that you don't miss it. Now, if I've messed up on something, it's gone, right? It's over. I can't go back and redo it. But if you say that at 25, what will I look like? So I would say live your life in such a way that if tomorrow comes and you're not here, how would you like to be remembered? So if you can live your life in that way on a daily basis, now I'm saying it, and so I think we don't know. Life is so uncertain. Today we are talking, tomorrow maybe some of us may not be here, but that's the way life is.
That's deep. Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much, Richard. You've given us over an hour on a Sunday evening. That too, still you're in the middle of such big businesses, helping companies run. Thank you so much.
Thank,
I can't express gratitude enough. I think our audiences have also learned a lot from this discussion. And of course, we'll be posting it to our channel, and many more people will watch it and learn and grow. And I'm sure they'll get little essence of positivity, optimism, positive psychology, which will help them in their lives. Thank you for distilling your
Yeah,
wisdom.
and also, Sreesha, sorry, I'm just butting in because I thought one word which I did not talk about
Mhm.
was stewardship. Uh, at Arthur Anderson, we learned stewardship means everything you get, you hold in trust. I think the Gita also teaches this. You hold it in trust to give it better to the next generation than what you got it. And we used to live it. It was not a word put on the screensaver. In Anderson,
Mhm.
it was imbibed on you that what you get as a title, as a partner, as a global partner, you hold it in trust to give it better to the next generation or the next set of partners than what you got it. So leave the firm in a better place. I would say leave the world in a better place than what you get it. This is, so I would just say keep that spirit of stewardship going. Yeah.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Richard. And maybe we should, meet again and have a podcast maybe a few months later,
Sure,
because
I'll be very happy to.
done. Great. There'll be so
Whatever
many more.
whatever feedback you get on this, maybe we could cover some of those topics. My book, my life is an open book. I'm pretty open to share everything of my life. Maybe next time we can talk all about my failures. I'm willing to share everything about it and how I dealt with it. I'm
Okay.
I'm not I'm not ashamed of it.
Okay.
I wear each of my failure like a learning, and the bounce back is a trophy, a scar on my
Yeah.
body, but
Yeah.
I wear it with pride. I wear it with pride.
Fabulous. Yes. We've all heard failures are stepping stones, but we'll hear from you in detail on how they became stepping stones for you.
Yes. Yeah.
Done.
Okay. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you again so much. Wish you a wonderful week ahead and enjoy your Sunday evening. Thank you, everybody,
Thank,
for joining us, and we'll see
thank
you all
you. Thank
tomorrow
you.
again.
Okay.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Bye bye.